To be one of those days, isn't it?
Really think I'm ever sure, to be honest with you. So if you're wondering what I'm never sure about, we did the entire show open.
Without being on.
And I didn't even hit go live.
It's just going to be one of those days.
It is.
Running late. We're like literally past each other and didn't know where the other one was.
Well, let's see. You're on, what does Rich say? Walden time?
I was on Walden time, my maiden name. He's always like, oh, Walden time.
Well, usually, it's like, all right, where the hell's Kathy? Where is she? And then it turned into, okay, well, today it was me.
Yeah.
It was me. Ask Paul. It's always me.
Well, I passed by your house. I'm like, dude, you're still home. What the hell? Let's go.
Yep.
And then so I get in the parking lot and I'm like, I'll just wait for him. And I'm sitting there playing on my work phone, getting some emails done. And you came in not knowing that I was still in the car, thinking I was in here. And you come in and I'm not here. And then you're texting me and I'm like, well, wait a minute. It was just.
I came upstairs and then there's no light on. I'm thinking, all right, Kathy's sitting in the dark. What the hell? I went, oh, she's not here. So I go back down. So I sit down thinking, all right, well, she'll be up in a minute. And well, she's not up in a minute. She's not up in 2 minutes. She's not up in 5 minutes. I'm like, am I dead? Did I die? And is this my own new reality? Just by myself? All right.
Yeah, it's a very Monday feeling Tuesday.
Yeah. So then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe Kathy's dead.
Yeah, so I'm coming in and you're coming out to get me and practically run into each other in the doorway.
And we look at you, hey!
Yeah, but we're here.
Man, we're here.
We're here. We're late, but we're here.
How was your weekend?
Busy.
Was it?
Just busy. Yeah, just got a lot going on. And
did you do everything on Walden time?
Always. Yeah, I'm always trying to fit what does he say? 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bucket. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that's what I was doing. I was actually off from work last week, so it was kind of nice. But but I was busy every day, and I don't feel like, of course, that 1 week off was enough. I felt like I could have used another week or two.
We were like on day number 7. We're like, are you ready to go home?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
it's like we're like captured now.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You can't go anywhere.
No, find a dolphin, swim home, We're going 12 knots, which is like 15 miles an hour. I'm like, but it was okay. It was still fun. You know what I mean? It was like,
okay.
We're ready to get home.
Yep.
And somebody said to me, he goes, well, that means you had a good vacation.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yep.
I think we did.
Yep.
And the one thing, and I don't know if I said this yesterday, but maybe I did. The one thing that Melissa wanted to see were dolphins, and she saw them.
Nice.
She saw a pod.
That's so cool.
They were going along with the boat.
Really?
So I guess they followed the wake of the boat.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos of it.
I've never.
That's so cool.
I'm literally in the room, right? We had a balcony.
Yep.
She's out there all the time.
I would be too.
I mean, she was constantly out there in the balcony. And it was either she was looking for fish, whales, or she's going to jump. And so anyway, I'm literally getting out of the shower and I hear, dolphins! Holy crap. So I jumped out and there she was.
That's really cool. I would love to see something like that, just out in the wild, and that would really be neat to see.
Yes. Yeah. And we saw, and they really do jump like that. Woo.
Yeah.
And then some of them got sassy and went whoo.
Got sassy. Nice.
Well, I couldn't believe it. One took a spin and went woo.
Did they do one of these?
No, one fin's not long enough. Otherwise, it probably
could. This?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, God. All right. Good morning, Laura. And Rich is there.
Oh, he's
Rich
at
is
work.
never there. Rich is never there unless you're there.
Oh, really?
He doesn't know. He doesn't participate unless you're here.
Slacker.
Not like you, Kathy.
Oh.
Who you're on all the. What the hell was that?
I don't know. That was weird. I'm telling you, it's a weird day today. Is it a full moon?
I have no idea. I almost want to go out there and check.
I don't know what that was.
No, it was up in the hallway.
What? No, I think it was behind you.
Really?
I think so. That's why I'm like, did that move? No? Okay. Okay. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's like, I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone this morning. It's a very strange day.
I thought it was out in the hall.
I thought it was behind you.
See, we are.
Something that's like the chakras are off today, or whatever the hell you call it. I don't know.
Awry.
Yeah. There's something that's just off today.
Laura says it's a new moon.
Oh, there you go.
Bring me my old moon back.
Maybe it's like El Nino or something. I don't know.
Is El Nino even a thing anymore?
I don't know. La Nina, El Nino. I don't know. It's about all the Spanish I know. So that's it.
Muy bien. Clearing out all my things.
Yeah, Rich is at work. Is working. He said he's had a busy morning, but apparently he still has time to tune in.
He goes, I have to work almost of the time.
Yeah.
What do you do to the poor guy?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Yesterday he worked 7 a to 7 p and then had meetings at both firehouses afterwards and bylaws and all this other stuff. And I had to bring his dinner to the firehouse so he could eat along with a handful of Excedrin for his headache.
Oh.
And then I'm like, all right, well, have fun. See ya. I'm going back home. Yeah. Always got something going on.
So we have this new this new thing for the Tumblr.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's Grizzle High School. It's got the schedule on it, and it's really cool looking.
Yeah, it is.
I
like it.
I have it, and it's really, it came out really nice. And
did you get the shipping thing figured out?
Yeah. You can choose local pickup.
Nice.
So that way you don't have to charge. It won't charge you like $6 shipping, which is to go two streets over.
Yep.
But anyway, Paul said to me, he goes, I think we're going to sell a lot of those.
Well, I was thinking it'd be pretty cool to have that on the night of the ribbon cutting that's being planned for the new field. Everyone's got their tumblers, and
yeah,
I said,
well,
cool.
I said we'll sell one or two.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I thought
it was
cool.
fun. I thought it was fun.
And having the schedule on there, I mean, you see that with other.
If it was $4, I'd buy it.
Nah.
$4.
But I mean,
do they have the Dollar General?
It's one of those insulated, right? Keeps it hot, keeps it cold, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty good.
So it's good for the moms that have to be at the fields, all day, and it may or may not contain alcohol, and there's it's fine that those this will keep it nice and cold, whether it's just water or not. And then the dads have their they can put their coffee in it, or
they'll just bring the beer can.
Whatever. I was okay. Well, I was gonna say whatever.
Go, little Johnny. Yeah, this bud's for you. Imagine that.
I mean it works for everybody.
It's like Clark's cousin. Shitter's full. What's his name? Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie. So yeah, we sell a lot of these on another social media platform. Not this.
Not the grizzled one, but the tumblers in general.
Yeah. And everybody says to me the ice lasts all day in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
I've had people tell me that their coffee stays warm all day.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
So it's pretty good. So I mean, I thought it was a good idea just because of the fact that football games are cold.
Yes, they are.
They get colder.
Yep.
And you could use that. I mean, I know a lot of people have their Walmart jug or whatever, but this right here shows your colors. I showed it to a couple of people involved with Griswold High School, and they went, "Whoa,
yeah, it's really
good.
Cool. Yeah, it shows the team spirit. You know,
Yep.
I love that it has the schedule on there.
It's got the new field.
Yep.
The picture of the new multi-purpose field.
Yep.
And that's on there too. So just scan that barcode right there, or that QR code. It's very easy to get to.
If you're on your phone already, how do you get to it? Because you can't scan the code if you're already on your phone. So how do you get to it without scanning the code? Oh, hadn't thought of that.
I didn't think of that.
Kind of hard to scan the code when it's on my phone.
I didn't think of that. Well, you can go to our website, which is snsnonline.com, and you can click go shop.
Okay, there you go. All right, perfect.
It's in there.
Perfect.
So, yeah. I didn't think of that.
I mean, unless you have a second phone, you can scan it, and that's fine.
Like you baller.
Like I do, yeah.
Jesus. All right. Enough of the Tom stuff, tomfoolery. We when I entitled today as "It's a Policy." So what that is that the First Selectman had gone ahead.
It's the Board of Selectmen, I think.
It was the board.
The Board of Selectmen.
The Board of Selectmen go ahead and they came up with a policy where if you are doing somewhere, well, I guess it really just affects the registrar of voters right now.
As far as I know, I haven't seen the policy, but based on the Board of Selectmen meeting where they voted on it,
and apparently, if you're not punching a clock, you're not punching in and punching out, you're not getting paid.
Yeah, I guess so. Yep.
Okay,
that's how I understand it.
All right. So we have a clip.
From
the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay. From the June one where they.
Oh, look at you! No, just August 8th.
Oh, the recent one. Okay.
Yeah, where it really, Jen Gauthier. She was talking about it yesterday, and I said, "Look, Jen, I'm not ready yet. I'm not prepared yet. But I did want to do something about it. You know, I mean, well, not do anything about it, but talk about it to see what people think." So now here's the deal: is that Jen Gauthier is an elected official, basically. As
both the registrars are.
Both the registrars.
There's a Democrat. Yeah, there's a Democrat registrar and a Republican registrar of voters.
Right. So they're both on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
They're voted for, and there's a stipend that goes along with that.
Yeah, that's in the budget, the town budget.
Right.
That's part of the referendum and all of that.
Right. So the Board of Selectmen put together a policy saying, all right, well, if you're not punching a clock, because it depends on who's working more hours than the other, whatever. There's a certain amount. And what it was is that both got equal amounts
of the stipend.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my understanding, that it was split between the two.
Which it's whatever. But I'm thinking to myself, well, if you're an elected official, shouldn't you all be punching a time clock? If not just one department.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that if you're working, you have to account for your time somehow. I mean, personally, I'm salary. In my job, I don't necessarily punch a time clock, but I still have to account for my time and that sort of thing. It's just like an online thing, and it's basically like a percentage of my time. So I'm still accounting for it. It's not necessarily hour by hour, but I would think that that there's some kind of accounting. But I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Waslick.
Oh, yes.
Everyone should be punching a time clock to keep track of hours worked. See, I agree with that. I agree with the whole time clock thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know if it needs to be necessarily an hourly time clock, but I think, what you're doing should be
right.
not what you're doing, but the amount of time you're spending doing certain things should be accounted for, I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's like I said, I'm salary and we have to do that.
Yeah.
Even in corporate, corporate America type of situation for salary. And to me, the stipend is kind of like salary, right? I mean,
well, then it would be a salary, not a stipend.
But I mean, it's the same amount, but that's what's changing, I think, with the policy. So
but I guess my thing is it is the money that's allocated for the registrars or any other department. Is it a salary or is it a stipend?
I think it's I guess I think it's a stipend.
It's a stipend.
That's what I
get it.
Thought. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to read.
You'd be standing on your head 24/7, and you'd get the stipend, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the. I'm certainly not a legal.
A lot of high schools, they give their coaches a stipend. Yeah. They don't have to punch a clock.
Yeah.
I don't know of a coach that has to punch a clock to receive their stipend.
As a Burgess, I get a stipend and I don't punch a clock.
Okay.
So I guess there's another example. Yeah, I hadn't really put a whole lot of thought into it.
Right. Neither have I until over the last few days.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think you and I talked about, I even talked to Rich about this too, and Paul, is that I thought that keeping your time, through, punching in, punching out, regardless of what it is, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because let's just say there's something that happens down at town hall, right? And you're claiming that you need to collect benefits because of this event, whatever, but you weren't punched in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, it'd be like, well, you weren't here.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Were you really on town time or, yeah, I mean, I could see that. It's, if you're keeping track of your time, you're kind of,
right.
It's a safeguard for you,
both.
as well as for the town. Right.
Or they could say, oh, we saw something got stolen at 222. Was it you, Kathy?
Yeah.
I wasn't punched in. I wasn't even here. Let me look at the time records. Oh yeah, nope, not here.
But in this day and age too, you also have cameras,
right?
That can prove, whether you're there or not as well. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know where the cameras are in town hall. I don't know, how that even works.
But I don't know if that means anything as far as timekeeping.
Not as timekeeping, but I mean, I guess in some situations, if there's a claim that something's happened or whatever, you could refer to cameras to see if that can help. A situation like that. But yeah, I mean, for an elected position, I mean, I'm thinking even at the state and federal levels, do they punch clocks? I don't know. I can't imagine Biden going in and being like, okay, guys, here, I'm getting some overtime today,
Punched in, way to go.
I mean,
back to the woodshed.
Yeah. But I mean, even at a state level, I don't know if Brian Ledoux would have to punch in or if Heather Summers punches in or, right. I mean, even Lamont or I don't know. I just don't know how that works.
Yeah. Brian doesn't show up to a session. Do they deduct his pay?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I have no idea. I don't know.
So Rich says, and this is true. There's a requirement under labor law to track hours worked, especially for workers' comp issues. There are many ways you can track hours. You can submit a timesheet, that has to be signed and then countersigned by a supervisor. There's a bunch of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is we're going to find out. It says Facebook user. It always makes me look it up. So hold up here. I like to identify who's saying what.
Yeah, that helps.
Okay, Lori Sorter. Good morning, Lori. I think part of the issue is that the new quote unquote policy only applies to the registrars. Shouldn't the policy be applied to every elected official on a stipend, not just one or two? I think that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why.
We already said that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would. I mean, if it's good for one, it should be good for all. I would imagine.
Right.
I mean, I don't know why, if they're all getting stipends, or I mean, even the folks that work in town hall. I mean, I'm
Yep.
sure they have to punch a clock. There's a time clock down there for a reason already, right? I mean, I'm sure there are some town employees that have
I've never
to punch
questioned
in.
it. I've never asked. I never
I don't
whatever.
know. I never really thought about it, but I mean, some of them are hourly employees, right? So I would and there's a time clock there already. So I'm assuming that some do punch in and out.
Yep.
But I don't know if any of the other elected positions punch in and out. I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't either.
I don't know if any of the boards, the selectmen, have to punch in when they're there. Or what are some other ones?
I think everybody should have, if it's one board, it should be all boards. It should be everything.
Mhm.
Even if you're on a board that's volunteer.
Yeah, I mean,
you should, because now you're on official town business time.
True. I
You
mean,
know, if
it's
we're going to go that far,
but a lot
you
of
know?
those don't get stipends. A lot of those boards are volunteer only.
it doesn't matter. It
So-
could be for insurance reasons.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Does it matter? I don't know.
Well, I mean, like even if you're recognized that you're on a board and you're not getting a stipend or anything like that, do you think that people should have to punch in and punch out before and after meetings? Because who knows? Maybe the town hall blows up, right? And there's a
Yeah.
part of it like it's on fire or whatever. Maybe there's somebody writes an insurance claim. Well, you weren't here. Well, I was punched in. Oh, let me check that. Oh,
Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
So.
It's interesting. I wonder what other towns do, or like I said, even at the state level, like what, or if there's even a statute, or I know Rich mentioned the Department of Labor, but I wonder if there's like an actual regulation where there's got to be something where this is all laid out, right? I mean, this can't be the first time anyone's thought of this. I would imagine there's some sort of law regulation somewhere that this is all laid out as to who must and who doesn't have to, and who should and who should not, and punch clocks.
Actually, Lori goes on to say, as elected officials, though, you do a lot outside of the office.
Absolutely, definitely do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. As a Burgess, I mean, the first year
Going to
personally,
barbecues and stuff.
yeah, well, but the first year as a Burgess, I was kind of, figuring it out and trying to understand, my role in all of this. And the second year, I've kind of stepped it up a little bit and tried to get more involved and feel like I'm earning the stipend that I'm getting for that. But yeah, you definitely spend a lot more time. The meetings are not where you're spending a lot of your time. It's all the outside stuff where you're doing a lot.
Rich says, definitely an issue. Policy should be across the board, should be worked out to avoid issues like this.
Yeah.
And Jennifer is there. Good morning, Jennifer. No one punches in and out, including the selectmen. At the last Board of Selectmen meeting, I asked, this is Jennifer speaking, the question of the first selectman about punching in and out. And she says she could punch in and out, but chooses not to. She's saying that is what the first selectman, how she answered that. Rich says meeting minutes, track that as well.
They do, but those don't come out, like you're saying, in the case of an emergency, if the minutes aren't in there for another 48 hours or whatever, and there's an emergency that night,
why not pass a sheet? You're in, you're out.
And then just slip it under the door or something. I don't
sign
know.
It.
And then give it to who? Like what would you do?
Well, the board chair, I think, would be responsible for that. See, sign in, sign out, whatever. And then they would, the board chair would, because the board chair would be responsible.
Right. So this is where, like, I have questions regarding boards and how they work. So like if the chair has, is responsible for that and whatever, the boards don't all have like their own, filing cabinet, or, where they save things like in a cloud or any kind of location that's available to others. Like everyone kind of saves stuff on their own personal computers, and, it's kind of an archaic way that it's run. And I'm sure this is the same.
It's an archaic way.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same for a lot of towns. I'm not saying it's just us, but, I mean, you have these new boards, that pop up for for certain things, and there's no like central location really to hold stuff like that. I don't know if the town clerk would have to hold something like that. I mean, who would hold a time card or a list, an attendance list necessarily for a board? Like, where would that be held? Like, where, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like,
There's a million questions.
yeah, there is.
There's a
It
million
opens
and
up a
10
lot
questions.
of, yeah. This whole thing has, definitely opened up, questions for sure.
Yep. It is absolutely opened a lot of crap. Mm-hmm. It really has.
Yep. But I think they're good questions. I think they're good for discussion, and things that could be addressed and worked out, and then there won't be so many questions. But like I said, I think a lot of it needs to be based on whatever regulations are in Department of Labor or state statutes, or I don't know. I don't even know where else you would go with it, but there's got to be something that's guiding all of this. And in Jen's situation specifically, I mean, at this point, I think it's out of the hands of those in town hall. I think it's going to be open to interpretation at a legal level, as to where to go from here, what to do with that. I would imagine, because it doesn't seem like there's going to be anything that's done in town hall to rectify this.
Jen, oh, by the way, I posted the link for the Tumblr if you're on your phone and can't get the
Were we boring you with our conversation?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just
checking.
No, nor will I be boring you with this long dissertation from Jen Goff here that I'll be reading.
Okay, go for it.
Municipal officials are not subject to supervision by the governing body. They set their own hours, subject to any building rules, perform the tasks assigned to them by the statutes. Municipal officials have their compensation set by town meeting and earn that compensation regardless of the number of hours actually worked. The governing body does not have the authority to adjust the compensation of elected officials. Only town meetings do. In addition, municipal officials are not subject to the personnel policies and other workplace rules.
So, okay.
Read it and weep.
Yeah. So and this is, lately I've been just reading a lot of state statutes all over the place for different reasons. But what I'm finding with a lot of these state statutes, and again, I am no expert by any means at all, not even close.
That's why I figured we'd talk about it.
Yeah. But reading through a lot of these, what I'm finding is that in like one chapter or one section of a state statute, it'll say something and it'll refer you to another one. And then you have to go to that one. And then that one might say something a little bit different. And then that'll refer you to another one. Then that one might say, yes, but except for these situations or this. And then you end up finding out that what the initial, what the first statute said isn't necessarily what the third one said that was referenced from the first one. And it gets really confusing. So I'm wondering if there is some other statute buried somewhere that does give the authority, and we don't know about it, or we don't know where that is, or
I'd never heard of anything that this. I was kind of taken aback when the Board of Selectmen put this policy into place.
Yeah.
It almost seems to me like, someone's getting picked on. I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's one board.
I have to say it's
it's nobody else.
Yeah.
Okay. The Board of Selectmen aren't doing it.
So it's an outside perspective, but yes, I mean, that's what it seems like from the outside looking in, that may be what's happening.
Court Kinney says, make me punch your time clock. You better pay me.
Right. So, and I think that's the other part of the policy too, though, is that, and I haven't seen the policy, so I'm not really sure, but they're not only the changing the process of punching in, needing to punch in now, but also changing the pay, right? Like to $17 an hour rather than the actual stipend.
I don't know. I see that as another gray area. It's like, is it $17 an hour, or I think they said it equates to $17 an hour.
Okay.
So I
All
don't-
right. So they took
yeah.
the stipend and divided it by some number of hours,
I guess,
and came up with $17 an hour. Okay. 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 So if they, okay. So what happens if they work more than those hours? Do they make less per hour if they work more than those hours?
I don't know. If you
Or, I
work
mean, they're not
40
getting
hours,
overtime, right?
Well-
Because it's a stipend that's already been approved in
Well,
the
who says you
budget.
can't?
Well,
The policy says you're getting paid by the hour.
but is it up to a certain amount? Like, there's got to be, because I mean, we as
Oh,
residents,
boy, that
we
would suck.
approved.
That would suck. Okay. So let's say that the registrar of voters, both of them, work X amount of hours, all right, or 80% of X. X, means, the total
number.
amount that they can earn. So they've worked 80X or 80% of X, right? Now we got primaries.
Right.
Okay. Who's got to be there? The registrar of voters, right? Sorry, I'm at 105% of stipend. Peace out, bitches.
Well,
That's, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So-
and I'm wondering, I mean, would the primary will come first. So I'm wondering if that could happen with the general election in November. Will they run out of hours that they can work by November? Like, how does, I don't know the policy. I don't know all of the, I'm assuming the Board of Selectmen approving this policy, kind of thought through all of this, but, because it was approved by two of the three selectmen for this policy to go into effect. So,
Well, here's the policy.
okay.
Let's see here. See if I can see small print here. Oh, crap. Each registrar will be paid $17 per hour for work, which there is an accounting, meaning their hours.
Okay. $17 an hour for which they're all right. Okay. So they're accounting for their hours, $17 an hour.
Each registrar is budgeted for $13,791 a year, assuming both work the same hours.
Okay.
You have one. You may have one work more and one work less. The estimated hours are not a guaranteed thing. However, that still leaves $1,347 for additional flexibility.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So if there are
which won't get you much, but
yeah.
Let's see. Estimated hours that vary from year to year. 8 office hours a week.
8 office hours a week. Okay.
Maybe less, but would be made up with extra hours during elections. Just 416 hours at $17, $7,072.
Okay.
And there's a breakdown here of everything.
Okay. All right.
So, but this is the policy, but yeah.
So that's work that's happening at town hall. I'm assuming, I don't know what the day-to-day, activities are for registrar of voters, but there's stuff that's happening outside of town hall too. I know, like, from what I've seen in elections, there's a lot of stuff that, you're kind of running around, getting stuff ready, checking things. You're not necessarily punched in or I shouldn't say punched in. You're not necessarily physically in town hall working. You may be running to, where the voting is taken, like at the school or something, and setting stuff up and doing that sort of thing. So is all that accounted for?
I don't know.
And like afterwards, when we're sitting here, like waiting for numbers to come out, and they're at the schools at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then they're here till 10, 11 at night waiting for numbers. I mean, that's what, like a 16. I don't know. I can't do math.
Well,
that's a long freaking day. I mean, $17 an hour just for an election day would seem like that would take up quite a chunk of the budget. And we're going to have 2 of those this year.
Yeah.
That we know of, right? I mean, we'll have the primary and then the election. So I don't know.
So that's an extra election, right?
Right.
In there. What if the budget fails 2 or 3 times?
Right.
Then all of a sudden you don't have so now what? The Secretary of State has to come in?
Or is there, I know there's kind of like a I don't know what you call it, slush fund, or some kind of, like, there's a line item in the budget for situations where, the Board of Finance needs to kind of reallocate some funds from this line item. I think they can do that to cover situations like this. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, it's been in effect for what, a month, maybe?
Well, so to answer your question, or Jennifer says, so based on the accounting which she put in the room, which is basically the same thing that's in the policy she just sent. There's no required there's no required hours for primaries, poll worker training, ballot testing, room setup, breakdown. So basically, that's all gratis. That's all free.
But if you're punching, I guess, using the primary, say for example, as a registrar of voter with the current policy, the new policy, you'd be expected to come into town hall, punch in, do whatever you have to do here on primary day, and then go to, I mean, I guess voting would be in town hall, but still, like, all the setup, say voting was at the school, so all the setup and everything, and staying at the school all day and all of that stuff. So you wouldn't be clocking back out until you got back here after the numbers were in and you were ready to leave the building, right?
So let me ask you this, all of these other functions that have to take place, like primaries, poll worker training, ballot testing, room setup, breakdown. So who spends those hours? Does
I don't know.
Does the Board of Selectmen do it? Does the Board of Selectmen train the poll workers? Because they're not punching clocks, right?
Well, that's why I'm asking if the registrar of voters, if that's, part of their responsibility to do those activities, then I would imagine they would have to punch in for those, right? And get paid hourly for those. Right? I mean, they would have to come to town hall, punch in, and then if training or whatever's happening at the school, because that happens to be the polling place, they would punch in here, have to go to the school, do what they have to do, and then they'd have to come back to punch out afterwards.
Right.
I think, right?
So just so everybody knows, we're not sitting here crapping on a policy, or we're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we're just,
see where it's good, because it's election season.
Right. It's election season, and I don't know what I don't know, and I have questions, and a lot of people have questions, and just having this discussion, I mean, the two of us have come up with even more. So
exactly. Now, I'll tell you this: if I'm a registrar, which I am not, if this new policy is actually valid, then I'm punching a clock. But I'm punching the damn clock every time I walk in the building, because I may or may not be doing registrar business, but I'm in that building. And if I get called away because somebody has a question, damn it, I'm getting paid for it.
Right.
So if I'm making 10 grand as a registrar because I'm punching in and out, that ain't my problem. It is no longer, because now I'm an employee. You're telling me I got to be there. I got to do this. Punch in, punch out. I don't give a crap.
So
what's in the budget? If I'm punching in, I'm getting paid.
So what happens to, I mean, I know they get, text messages and Facebook messages and emails and things like that. So
don't answer.
So it sounds like they can't answer them unless they're in on punched
company
in
time.
Punched in.
Right.
So if they have office hours, I know each of them, the Republican registrar and the Democrat registrar have set office hours. Mondays and Thursdays or something. So would that mean that if you're not punched in, then those residents who are trying to register to vote or trying to, have questions about whatever, I don't know, that has to wait until they're in the office?
I don't know. It's crazy. It's like if you're on vacation, right? Mm-hmm. You may set an away message on your email. Right. Contact so-and-so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Right. And I'll answer it when I get back.
Yeah. That's it. I don't know if the town clerk can do any, I don't know, registrar vote, the voter registration forms, maybe. I don't know. I
don't know.
Clue.
All right. Now, here's another question from Jamie O'Neill Eaton. If the registrars are punching a clock, are they now entitled to unemployment benefits?
Oh, geez.
Election officials are not entitled to collect unemployment, and as hourly employees, would that change?
So I don't know because it's still considered a stipend that they're receiving, right? It just
they're
happens
paying it
to
as
be
a salary.
but it just happens to be broken down hourly.
Break it down.
I don't know.
She meant to say elected officials, by the way.
Yeah.
Rich says yes, definitely. They would make them eligible for unemployment benefits.
Yeah, again, I think
so now you got to pay even more in unemployment insurance.
So again, I think a lot of this is, I mean, I think it becomes so technical between state statutes, Department of Labor regulations, laws like this. It almost seems like it all needs to be interpreted by legal, on both sides and figure out like what can and can't happen and what, has a can of worms been opened or are we just kind of totally looking into this way more than I don't know. I have no idea. It's interesting though. That something that seems so on the surface, so kind of simple, like, okay, punch a clock. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, whatever. But then what that affects, the tentacles from that, it's become quite interesting.
Here's a personal situation that I had about 6 years ago. I had a lady come in that was selling advertising for us, but signed paper that she was an independent contractor. Okay. So when she left in January of this year, or not this year, but a year, she stated that she should get paid for the entire year on a certain account because she signed them up for 1 year. So even though she wasn't going to be there for 11 months out of the year, she felt that she should still get commission because she whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, all right, well, no. So she took me to labor board. Right. So because she was trying to file for unemployment benefits.
Okay.
And we went, and then I got investigated by the Department of Labor. They came in, they did whatever, and I'm telling you right now, that's a freaking money grab. It really is, because they didn't vote. They did not side with her, meaning no, you can't collect, if you're not there.
Yeah,
but you're not really an independent contractor. What do you mean? Oh well, she had a desk available. Yeah. Because she stops here to like drop things off. That makes her an employee.
What?
And I'm like, it does not. They fined me $300. That's what I mean. It's cash grab. It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
So because there was a desk here that was assigned to her.
Wasn't even assigned to her.
Oh,
no.
There was just
because she sat at it a couple of times.
Yeah. So am I an employee by sitting here?
No, because you're not compensated.
Oh.
Ah! But she was compensated, on and that's why I have never again had somebody that was selling advertising.
Interesting. And
because I'm like, I don't need that crap.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, where you look at one statute and it says something, but then it kind of refers to, but see this statute, under section 1-257. And then you go there and it's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. But see section this, and they say slightly different things, or they have different requirements, or, and I'm wondering if this is that type of situation.
It says, not to mention, would elected officials might be put into the pension program and then eligible for benefits. I said that a while ago. I said, what unemployment insurance? I said, what about pensions, retirement benefits, that kind of stuff. See, you open up a whole new
that's what I'm wondering. I don't.
And Laura says, was there ever an explanation why they changed the policy? Well, they didn't change the policy. They created this policy.
Yeah,
I don't think it wasn't a policy.
Yeah, that was my understanding, that it's a brand new policy. Yeah, I think only the Board of Selectmen could probably answer that. But was it in that meeting? And I think it was June that they voted on this. I wonder if it was in that meeting where they explained the policy and like where it came from. I don't know. I don't remember.
Rich says if state representatives get elected more than twice, they are eligible for retirement.
Wow.
So I guess I had my question, I guess, not that it would really matter. That's why I told my own personal story, is that as a registrar of voters, are you an employee of the town, meaning you have taxes taken out of your paycheck, or are you 1099 where you are
Yeah, I don't know.
You're responsible for your own taxes?
No idea. Interesting question. I'm sure if Jen's still on there, I'm sure she can answer that. Yeah, whether taxes are taken out or not. Good question.
I can't see who said this, but
Uh-oh.
said, I'm having awful flashbacks to the merger proposal. Jennifer says, yes, we pay FICA.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see it now. Oh, yeah, interesting. It's a lot of questions.
There's more questions than answers.
Yeah. But
that was Lori Soder.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, if these questions have been asked to the Board of Selectmen. I don't know if they've had an opportunity to answer these questions. I don't know. I'm assuming Jen may have asked some of these at least, but I don't know if assuming if she hasn't received answers, but
So I guess you're an employee of the town, not a stipend. I think, if you listen to what my story was and compared to what they're doing and how they're getting paid, they're employees of the town.
Yeah. Yeah, based on just what you said
Yeah.
there. I mean, they have a desk, they're an employee, which to me sounds a little silly, but she says it's a stipend / salary, not an employee.
Well, yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. I bet if you go to the Department of Labor,
because you're being paid hourly.
Yeah. Now you're an employee. That's my guess.
That's what I'm saying. We need there has to be some legal expert to review all these, labor laws and policies.
So now if there's a lawsuit, guess what? Now we got to pay for more law time.
Mm-hmm.
We're saving a bunch, aren't we?
If it gets to that.
Messing with this. Daryl says, so why the change?
I don't know.
Why?
I'm not privy to that. I have no idea. That would I'd have to ask the Registrar of Voters or the Board of Selectmen.
It's like eating frog legs. What do they do with the rest of the frog?
Oh, gross. I don't know.
You look at it and they go, why? Why? You ever think of
no.
Think of a frog.
No, I don't want to. No, I'm trying not to. No, thanks. So yeah, I mean, I think from what I heard, there was a letter that they got that explained that the policy would be going into effect after they voted on it at the Board of Selectmen meeting. I don't know what was in that letter. I don't know if anything was explained there, or if it was just simply like, hey, this policy will go into effect, as of this date, and that's it.
If it ain't broke, let's break it, Daryl said.
I like that. I think I'm going to use that at work. If it ain't broke, let's break it.
Daryl Nadeau from the Healthy
That's
Computer,
perfect.
School Street, Jewett City, right next to the
dog groomer.
The dog groomer.
I like that saying. Oh my God, I'm totally stealing that. If it ain't broke, let's break it. Yeah, I like it. Yep.
Rich says, as a volunteer and receiving a stipend like the fire department.
Oh, right. Yep.
We are considered employees.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily punch a clock, but they do have to keep track of like what calls they go on. There's like a point system. So their stipend is based on, I'm almost positive, but their stipend's based on their number of points. So they get certain points for going on calls, certain points for attending events like parades and stuff, certain points to go to trainings. They spend a lot of time outside of the physical firehouse doing stuff, and they get like points for those things, and they're added up. And over the course of the year, their stipend, from what I understand, is based on the points that they have for the year. So it's not necessarily punching a clock, but they're still kind of accounting for, the time or the things that they've gone to over the year.
I personally, I don't have a problem punching a clock. But if you're going to do it for one department, I think you got to do it for all.
Yeah, I would think so. But
does the executive assistant to the first selectman have to punch in and punch out?
I don't know. I don't know who's hourly, or I'm trying to think of what other elected officials are in town
She's
hall.
not elected.
No. Besides the board, I'm talking like the registrars. Like, are there any other
Tax
elected
collector.
officials? Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
Leona.
Yep.
Right.
Treasurer. Right.
Treasurer.
Yeah, I don't know if they have to punch
Town
a clock
clerk.
or not.
Borough clerk.
Yeah. Do they? Yeah, I don't know if they punch clocks or not. I mean, there's a clock in there for somebody to be punching already, so somebody's punching clocks in there. I mean, they already have it's not like they had to go and order a new time clock because of this policy. It's in there.
Ryan Aubin.
Does he punch a clock?
I don't think so. I don't know. But
and he doesn't work at a town hall either.
Right, but he's also not.
He's not elected.
So he's my choice, though. Karen says, no, I don't punch a clock.
Okay.
Karen Langlois?
Yep. Borough.
Huh?
Borough clerk.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's borough, though, so that might be a little different.
So now Val is still there doing
Val's their town clerk
stuff, right?
Yep. Yes.
But she's going to be retiring.
That's my understanding.
Karen, are you taking over for Val? Or are you running?
I haven't seen her in there.
All right. So Karen says she doesn't punch clock.
Okay.
But does any?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else does. So what's the time clock in there for? Who's punching it? Do we know?
I don't know. Maybe the assistants, inside of like the assessor's office.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. What about like the fire marshal and all of those guys?
Linda does not either.
Linda Cody.
Right.
Treasurer. Okay.
Shannon, union employees, they do or do not punch a clock.
Union employees probably do. I would imagine that union employees do punch clocks.
All right. Jamie says, last I knew, all employees hourly and salaried punch a clock. Elected officials, town clerk, tax collector do not.
Yeah. Union employees do punch a clock. Yeah. That would make sense.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Yep.
But but the question is that to me does everybody now have to punch a clock? Because
I don't think so.
Or is it just union employees and registrars? Because that would be weird.
As of right now, I think that's what it looks like. I mean, union employees will have to punch a clock. Well, do have to punch a clock. And then as of this new policy, the registrar of voters.
That's weird.
Does that include the deputy? Because they have deputy registrars, right? So do they?
What the building?
Do they get paid? I don't even know if they get paid.
What about the building inspector? That's what I mean. There's a whole.
The blight officer.
Huh?
The blight officer.
Yeah.
I mean, they work a certain number of hours, so I would imagine they would have to keep track of their hours.
But here's the other thing. We don't know why this was put in place.
Mm-mm.
We don't know. Could be a personal issue. It could be a professional issue. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you right now, it worked without it for how many years?
Well, it's I from the outside perspective, I'm assuming there were folks that felt that it wasn't working. That's why the policy was put in place. So but I don't know. I don't know what led up to it. That would be for the Board of Selectmen to answer.
Jamie says finance director and selectman's assistant, non-union, did have to punch a clock when she worked here.
Oh. Yeah, so I don't know if that's still the case.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. What I'm saying is it worked well without it. So I just don't know why. My biggest question is this, is that if you're going to make a policy, why not make it across the board, right? And have the Board of Selectmen, vote on something that's across the board that affects anybody that gets a stipend or employee or whatever. And number two, why does it only affect the registrar of voters?
Mm-hmm. So it's a question for the Board of Selectmen.
Why doesn't it affect somebody else? Yeah, another department.
Yeah, I don't know.
That to me really makes it sus, because it's like, why is it just this department?
Mhm.
What makes the registrar of voters?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there was some sort of issue there.
You would think.
There was an issue of some sort that the Board of Selectmen felt a policy was needed to address it.
But then again, I mean, wouldn't you think that would have to be across the board?
I don't know. I don't know what the regulations say.
No, I'm asking Kathy Wasilek. I'm
oh,
not
me?
asking.
Oh, personally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, yeah, across the board. To me, that would be easier on
Yeah.
it to just have a blanket, like, okay,
I would think
everybody's
so.
punching in. To me, that would make it easier. But I don't know the legal ramifications of all of that, or I don't know.
I believe that I heard at one meeting when this was in its inception. Jennifer, you can answer this for me. Did you request at one of the earlier meetings that the Board of Selectmen punch a clock? And didn't the Board of Selectmen, or actually the First Selectman, say that she would punch a clock?
I don't remember hearing that in a meeting.
I want to make sure. I thought I heard that, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I don't.
No, I think in the last one.
No. The last one she said she does. She chooses not to. But a few meetings before this, couple of meetings when the policy, I could have sworn
it was in the public comment, the public forum.
Yes,
part.
yes.
I think she did say that.
Yep. She was yes. The First Selectman said she would. That was early July.
I think she said she could punch a clock.
I heard would.
I'll have to go back.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the meeting, and stuff like that. But
I don't know. I think she said she could punch a clock.
Right, but that's going from either could or would to I choose not to.
Yeah, and as the CEO of the town, I'm assuming she has that authority to do that, but I don't.
Lead by example. That's all I say.
Yeah, that's another perspective. Yep.
Do as I say, not as I do. I don't know. I think this is not to crap on the Board of Selectmen. This is just to try to figure out why.
Questions. The other thing too in this day and age, especially post COVID, the whole working from home. Are there any folks in town hall that do? I'm sure there's a bunch of people at town hall that do work outside of town hall. So how is that accounted for?
I don't know. Like going to Southeastern Council of Governments or whatever. Right?
Yeah. Or, I mean, I'm sure people are checking emails and doing things outside of town hall walls.
Yeah.
So I just wonder how or if that needs to still be accounted, or only the time when you're physically in town hall and the other time is, I don't know.
Well, Jennifer says that it's going to go to a lawsuit. Okay, fine. Then after that, so what happens? Now it's just going to cost the town more money for legal fees.
Unfortunately, yep.
Which, Jennifer, I'm not saying that you're not, you don't have the right to do what you're doing. I'm just saying as a taxpayer. Now
she's a taxpayer too.
Just jacked up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and the Board of Selectmen are all taxpayers. So, we're all in the same boat there. Yeah, it's an interesting
4 words. Settle out of court.
Yeah, it's quite the interesting kerfuffle.
Damn it, I was gonna say something. I stopped myself. All right. So that's it. Anyway.
That's it.
I think
that went by quick.
Yeah, I think we
beat it. Beat it enough.
Well, no, I think the question we had just created more questions.
It did. Yeah. And a lot of, playing devil's advocate and that sort of thing. But I would like to assume that all these questions that we've come up with today were discussed prior to the policy being implemented.
Jennifer just said, she goes, if it was thoughtfully crafted and applicable to all, she goes, I'd be glad to oblige. But that's the other question I have is, why is it just the registrar? So, but we'll find out soon,
Will we? I don't know.
We'll find out, when the registrars don't show up for the election, because, stipend's up.
Well,
Go
that's
swimming.
that's my concern is, I mean, but can they, I mean, what would happen if they didn't show up with the Secretary of State? I mean, Secretary of State could come down and be like, no, you've been elected to do this job. You need to show up and do it.
Yeah.
And
I
then
would
they could
say
turn around and
no.
say, no, I'm not being paid for it. And the Department of Labor is going to say, well, if you're not getting paid, then don't show up. Secretary of State's going to say, no, you're elected to show up. And so what do you do?
Well, then the Department of Labor, I mean, the Secretary of State brings in their own people.
Oh, okay.
They
I
have
could
to
see that. Right. Okay. Yep.
They'll run it, you know?
And I'm sure that's going to cost something.
And that ain't going to be free.
Right. That's going to have to cost something if that happens. Holy
it costs like
moly.
$3,000, $4,000 to run an election now.
To run a primary.
Like 10 or 12.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, God.
Wow.
All right. Well, we will attack this more. So, all right. So tomorrow, what's it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
We have Brian Culpin, who will be here as a guest. He's our friend that's traveling the country.
Oh, okay.
And he's somewhere, and he'll let us know tomorrow.
Oh, so he's not here in person.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's always virtual because.
Well, I didn't know if he was driving through.
Oh, no. Him and his family are somewhere right now. They've been on the road for 2 years. Well, no. The plan was for 2 years. It's been over 3.
You've had them on before. Yeah.
Yep. So
really
we're going to talk to them Thursday. Kevin Cunningham will be here from the town of Plainfield.
Oh, cool.
We'll ask him stipend questions. Let's see what he's doing.
Oh, geez.
As long as he brings pastries, I don't care what he has.
Thursday. Am I here Thursday?
Well, usually it's
I know. Well,
Mike Awasalik with Paul Lash.
I know. I have Paul Lash. Poor Paul. All right, hold on. Thursday. That's not the 31st. I'm a week ahead.
And then Friday we have something in the works, but nothing solid yet.
Thursday, I think I'm available.
Okay, great.
I think. Just double checking. Yep.
So Friday, I'm not going to say anything because it hasn't been given the definite thumbs up yet.
Okay. Well, on Friday, I don't know if Rich will be here or not. He has a meeting at 10. So we'll have to let you know about Friday.
Well, there are other Wasiliks.
That's what I say. We'll have to let you know which one you're going to get.
And Monday next week, Tina Falk.
What are you doing planning ahead like this? Jeez. Okay, hold on. The 21st. Oh, Paul will be here. Okay, so we're good there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
cool. Tina will be here?
Yep, Monday.
Good. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I actually, I wanted to talk to each, the endorsed candidates, and I knew I was going to have Wayne in at one point, but I had already scheduled Tina.
Yeah.
So.
No, definitely. I think it'll be good.
So that's going to happen on Monday. So, all right. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us here, and we will see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Have a good day.